UConn, Iowa, and Brooklyn on Fox. We'll preview. This is Locked On UConn.
You are Locked On UConn, your daily podcast on the UConn Huskies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Friday, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On UConn. I'm Matt Shonvisky, a two-time graduate, 10-year credentialed media member, and host of the only UConn daily sports podcast, Locked On UConn. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the world. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and thank you for making this your first listen each and every single day. On today's show, we'll preview Saturday's matchup with number 11 Iowa in Brooklyn. Then Skyler Bell confirms he will play next Saturday in the Fenway Bowl. And finally, the men head to DePaul in the first conference road test of the year. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. So the Huskies take on number 11 Iowa as part of the Champions Classic on Saturday in Brooklyn. So let's bring in Daniel Connolly of the UConn blog to help preview tomorrow's matchup. Daniel, thanks for hopping in.
Thanks for having me.
So when I look at this team, sorry about that, from the outside, it just seems to be a special group. They are rolling through what I think has been, the first part of the year, a little difficult schedule with Louisville to start, Michigan as well, but they're just rolling. Like, what are you seeing from your side of things?
Yeah, I think the term you're looking for is wagon. They are dominant. It's bizarre to think that you can lose a player, top 4 player in program history like Paige Beckers, and then the team improves by leaps and bounds. But that's what happens when you have a sophomore version of Sarah Strong, a fully healthy and confident version of AZ Fudd, which we really never saw last season until probably the Final Four, and then just an incredible collection of talent around them with KK Arnold and Ashlyn Shade, Sarah Williams coming in from Wisconsin, Kaylee Heckel coming in from USC, and then Blanca Quinones, who has just been a revelation as a freshman. They have so many different ways to beat you. They've got the high-end talent that can carry you if other players aren't having great nights. They've got depth. They've got different looks from different spots. Like one night it could be Ashlyn Shade getting 15 against USC. Another night it could be Ali Zabel, who's been a really nice emergence as a sophomore, coming off the bench and hitting a bunch of threes the way she did earlier this season. So it's not a team that has any apparent holes. And yeah, they've played a good schedule. The one thing is they haven't played a top 10 or a real national title contender like a South Carolina, a Texas, a UCLA. But the teams that they have played, they've handled pretty easily. So it's a really good team. It looks like it might be the best UConn team there's been since Brianna Stewart graduated.
Yeah, you touched on several players that I wanted to ask about. Sarah Strong, AZ, and Blanca. Let's start with Sarah. She's coming off a 22-point performance, leading the team in scoring, just under 18 a game. What have you liked about her this season as opposed to last season? Where has she gotten better as a player?
I don't know if there's really anywhere she's gotten better as a player simply because she already could really do everything. The difference is more in her attitude or mindset, I think is probably the best way to put it, where last year she was a freshman and she knew she was a freshman, so she didn't necessarily want to ruffle any feathers. She was happy deferring to Paige or to AZ or some of the more veteran players. And this year, she knows it's her team along with AZ's. She plays with just more of a she carries herself differently and just treats it like she is one of the go-to players on this team because she is. I think a really good example is the opener against Louisville. They were up big. Louisville got it within 10 with about 3 or 4 minutes left, and UConn hadn't scored in a while. Next offensive possession, the ball goes right to Sarah. She scores. Next offensive possession, the ball goes right to Sarah. She scores. That's really the game right there. So last year, that would have been Paige Beckers getting those shots. This year, as they try and figure out how to get by without Paige, it's been Sarah, it's been AZ. So yeah, it's she's got the same skill set that she's had from the moment she stepped on campus, but now she's acting like she's one of the best players in the country.
Yeah, AZ seems to have stepped into a leadership role, also averaging more than 17 points a game on the year. To me, just watching from afar, because I'm not around the team like you are on a regular basis, it just seems like she's more relaxed, having fun, not pressing, as opposed to maybe in earlier years she has just facing injuries and coming off some times that she missed. Just what have you seen from AZ this year in her new role as a leader?
It's funny. I feel like I always kind of gloss over AZ when I'm talking with people about the team, talking on my own podcast, because it's like, oh man, Sarah did all these things. Like, she's incredible. Look at what Blanca did. It's so much fun to watch her. Oh, this player had a good game. And yeah, AZ got her 17 points and 3 steals, and like it feels so ho hum for her because she's so consistent every single night. And I have to keep reminding myself that, well, this is like the only time we've ever seen AZ do this. Her freshman year, she dealt with injuries and is just naturally a player that can get in her own head. Her sophomore year, she got off to this flying start when Paige was out, and then she hurt her knee and it totally derailed the rest of the year. Her junior year, she tears her ACL four games into the season. We barely saw her. And then last year, she gets back 3 games in, starts to get into a bit of a rhythm, hurts her knee in the Champions Classic coming up on Saturday. And that was such a mental hurdle for her to get over. Finally being healthy and then getting hurt again. And it was in January she started to put it together, then obviously really picked it up in March, especially the Final Four. But she's had a healthy offseason. She had a healthy stretch of games coming into this season. It's been a very natural step. No Paige, she's your new leader in the backcourt. I think what really impresses me, though, about AZ this season is so often, if we go back to that sophomore year stretch to open the season, it would be 4 or 5 points in the first half. She'd be kind of quiet. And then the second half, she'd just hit you with this explosion of threes. This season, we haven't necessarily seen that blow up game from AZ, but it's instead been a steady drip. And notably, I don't know the exact number, but it feels like every single game, AZ's the one taking that first shot. She is not hesitant when she has the ball in her hands. She is willing to let it fly. Somehow her shot seems to get off quicker than it ever has, even though she already had an unbelievably quick shot. So it's a natural progression. But yeah, I think it just continues to bear mentioning that this is kind of all new for AZ. She's never been at this level, and she just looks completely comfortable in her role, which is great news for UConn.
Yeah, exactly. And more great news for them. You've got another rising star coming off that bench in Blanca. It just what is I feel like she would be the best player on every team they've played so far, potentially. But and that just shows how deep the Huskies are. What do you like of her game as well?
I think it's more what's not to like. She's big, like she's listed at 6'2". There's not a chance in the world that she is 6'2". She is, or maybe she's even 6'1" on the roster, but she's at least 6'3". I wouldn't even be surprised if she was 6'4", but then she's super athletic for that size. She certainly has more of a wing or a guard's body than a big. And then she's long, she's physical. On top of that, she has pretty much an already well-rounded skill set from playing for a professional team in Italy for the last 5 years. The thing early on was she didn't seem to totally know how to use it and was getting sped up a lot. There were a lot of turnovers, a lot of fouls, a lot of mistakes. She started to really cut down on those turnovers, which has just allowed everything else in her game to flourish. I think a really good example of a Blanca play against Marquette was, I don't know if she stole the ball, but she got it around midcourt. She's being guarded by 3 different people. She just charges through all of them, throws like a spin move in there or a crossover, then goes to lay it up and just gets rejected by the front of the rim. So it felt like everything with Blanca distilled down into one thing. But I really liked what Gino said after the win over USC, in that he has to go looking for the negative plays that she has to remind himself that she's only 18, because otherwise he's just going to get carried away with what she could be and how good she is out there. And I'm not a coach, so I don't have to worry about what my thoughts are going to do to impact the team. And it is just so easy to get carried away about her potential. She's already really good. She's the third leading scorer on this team, and she's just going to get better and better as the season goes on. And in future years, she is just going to be a force of nature.
Yeah, it seems like sky's the limit with her. Switching gears to Saturday's matchup with Iowa. Obviously, a lot of contests the last couple of years with them. Seems to be a rivalry in the making. Which is what do you see they could present from a challenge standpoint in tomorrow's game? I know the Huskies' defense has been very, very strong. Gino's talked about that, but they can't give up open shots against this team.
Yeah, I'm actually more interested in the front court because Sarah Williams from Wisconsin started to put a couple good games together after a slow start. Sarah Strong hasn't had a bad stretch, but she had 6 turnovers against Marquette. She had 3, granted, while dealing with a stomach illness against USC. So she hasn't been her sharpest. Then Blanca is still just a little bit of a wild card down low. Hannah Stolke's really good. Ava Hayden for Iowa. That's a really solid 1-2 punch down low. I'm really curious to see how they handle that. Can they still get points down low? Can they slow down Iowa down low? Because I feel pretty good about the matchup with the guards. AZ has been phenomenal defensively. She totally shut down Jazzy Davidson, the best freshman in the country at USC, held her to 10 points on 3 of 13 shooting, I think it was. KK Arnold has been really, really good regardless of what her numbers are. I think Ashlyn Shade gives really good minutes. I'm taking UConn's guard group over anyone, so I think the area that could give UConn some real trouble is if their bigs struggle and can't handle that duo that Iowa has, because this is going to be UConn's highest ranked matchup the rest of the season, barring a big run up the polls from Notre Dame or Tennessee. So this should be a challenge for UConn. I think it would probably be a lot better if it is a challenge for them as opposed to just being a almost wire to wire blowout like USC was. I'm not totally sure they'll get that benefit, though.
Well, appreciate it, Daniel, giving some insight into this year's version of the Huskies, as well as a look ahead at tomorrow's matchup. You can find the game tomorrow, 1:30, nationally broadcast on Fox. And on the other side, Skyler Bell will be on the football field at the Fenway Bowl next Saturday. The holidays always show up faster than we expect. And if you're still putting together gifts, last minute decor, or getting your home ready for guests, Wayfair has you covered. Whether you need a quick room refresh, new bedding, or those final seasonal touches, Wayfair makes it easy to get what you need fast. Wayfair truly is your one-stop shop for everything home, with decor, furniture, kitchen essentials, and gifts for every style and every budget, all delivered quickly and easily. Their selection is huge. Bedding, decor, kitchen gear, kids' room updates. I was able to find everything in one place. It's so easy to shop by style. It helps you pick pieces that actually fit your home instead of guessing. The Wayfair items you order will instantly refresh your space without a big project. No massive delivery fees, no stress. It's the best way to get your home holiday ready without running around to different stores. Get last-minute hosting essentials, gifts for all your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. Back in on Locked On UConn. Now switching gears over to the football side of the Huskies, and Skyler Bell, rumored for the last couple of weeks that he would not be playing in the bowl game. Open media availability today. Who's front and center? Skyler Bell. What did he say? He's playing. Skyler Bell will be on the field indeed when the Huskies take on Army at the Fenway Bowl. And I think it speaks to the brotherhood that this group, the mindset of this team had under head coach Jim Mora. That they're not bailing out. He's recruiting anyone that's been in the portal to play on Saturday. Any of the players that have publicly said, hey, we intend to enter the transfer portal. He's saying, hey, come prove it. Come showcase your ability on the field next Saturday at Fenway Park against Army. Just another show of leadership from, dare I say, the best offensive player that's ever suited up for the Connecticut Huskies. And it's just another reason to point to of why Skyler Bell has been such a asset for this football program. The on-field performance, the stats, we all know them. Unanimous All-American. Skyler Bell. First time ever at UConn at the FBS level. So he has a chance to go out and on next Saturday build upon the stats that he already has. Earlier this week, we talked about his statistics. He has a chance to rein in the most receptions, the most yards, most touchdown passes of any wide receiver in college football in 2025. And with that, if he has a big day, if he finds the end zone, he will take home the Triple Crown. That's a projection. And what he's doing with the rest of the group that's on the fence of, hey, do we want to play in this game? You're seeing some schools not even play in bowls. Notre Dame. This team wants to play. This team knows there's a 10th win for the taking, and they want to put their best foot forward and come out with a victory. So Cam Edwards is playing. Skyler Bell is playing. Your top receiver, your top running back. My guess is they're going to have their top offensive line. Just a guess. No confirmation, no inside information. My guess is their offensive line will be there. So I know Joe Fagnano has said and has done some interviews that he won't be playing. We'll see what the quarterback situation is. Practice was closed today. Not a lot of information coming out of there. But we'll see exactly who's suiting up here in the coming weeks. So Skyler Bell, the stats, the on-field production, the touchdowns, racking up the All-American awards, first team, consensus, and now showing his leadership and the team showing their buy-in to this program despite the coaching change. So outside of Jim Mora, every single coach is still here. Just like Jason Candle's coaching staff back home in Toledo. So I said yesterday, I don't know what to expect. I know what to expect now. That your top player offensively is here and is recruiting every single player to play in this game. They're taking this seriously. And it's an opportunity back on the table to get win number 10. So this game very quickly went from, is this just an exhibition, to it's on. They're going after it. They're going to try to get and win number 10, first time in program history. I think it speaks to that team mentality that this group has. So, as mentioned, all next week, we're going to be previewing UconnFootball's bowl matchup with Army as they go for the most wins in program history. But on the other side, it's back to the hardwood as the men head on the road for their first conference road game at DePaul. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. Keeps you locked in to every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. All right, back here on Locked On UConn, final segment of this Friday. And we're switching gears back to the hardwood with the men's basketball team. Coming off their first conference opening win in quite some time, they head on the road at DePaul. A chance to improve to 2-0, a chance to continue to grow, a chance to continue to develop the rotation, and a chance to really make yet another statement. They play on Sunday afternoon, 4:30 tip in Chicago. A little late. Not really liking the start time, especially with the NFL still going on. But such is the current schedule. And what are we looking for as UConn heads on the road? Well, we know all about the depth of this team, right? We've talked about it all week. I want to see how this team plays on the road in conference play. We do know how they reacted at Allen Fieldhouse. I need to see it in conference play. Because it's a tough conference, let's be honest, especially with the familiarity going on. Regardless of the opponent, it's usually a tough matchup. So the Huskies at 1-0 in conference play, like I said, take on DePaul, who's coming off a win over Wichita State and a loss to St. John's on the road in their Big East opener, 79-66. No big wins out of conference. So what do I expect? Yes, it's a road game in conference. But I expect this group to roll. DePaul has losses to Buffalo, Northwestern, LSU, and St. John's. Northwestern was a 2-point game. Buffalo, they lost by 13. LSU, complete blowout, 33. And then St. John's, another 13-point loss. Their wins, the only win that registers, Georgia Tech by 14. Wichita State by 3. The rest are all lower level opponents. So as UConn, but UConn cannot look ahead. They need to focus one game at a time. Hurley's talked about this during the season. Singularly focused on the next play, the next half, the next game. Because that's the only way you can really make progress as a team. And what do we want to see? We want to see continued success rebounding the basketball. DePaul averages 33 boards per game. Not the best rebounding team that UConn's going to face all year. I want to see the Huskies dominate the glass, hustle first to the floor, and absolutely take control of this game and not sleepwalk into the opener like they did against Butler. So can Solo Ball continue his progress? Can Terrace Reed continue to build his conditioning? Can Caravan be the consistent leader he's been all year? Will Braylon Mullins continue to shoot the rock well? Eric Ryba, produce. Silas Demery, get yourself right offensively and control the game, whether you're scoring or not. Jaden Ross, I want to see more of him off the bench. And Jalen Stewart, we'll see how your shoulder is. The rest of this group, I think Malachi Smith will see some time. But I think this rotation is starting to settle itself, I will say. It's becoming resolved. So the cadence of what this group looks like game after game after game after game, I think these first early Big East games are really going to show the true test. As long as this team stays healthy, as long as they stay out of foul trouble, and as long as they continue to move forward as a unit. So the Huskies play, like I said, Sunday, 4:30 on the road in Chicago against DePaul. Game's on FS1 as the Huskies look to improve to 2-0 in Big East Conference play. As we look ahead to next week, obviously Christmas week. Happy holidays, everybody. We will be here. Women play Saturday, Iowa. Men play Sunday, DePaul. And then it's going to be football, football, football ahead of Saturday's bowl game against Army. So we'll be here each and every single day with full coverage on the UConn Huskies. And with that, thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Locked On UConn. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And for a second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today, hosted by Peter Bukowski, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. As always, go Huskies!